Good morning, everybody. Let's go for a little walk. Well, first things first, these are the first words that I've uttered today, first sound to come out of my face. Let's look at our little pole beans down here. Miss Harmony and the kids put cane poles from that batch of cane. Just like I said, we were going to put some cane poles here. They put some cane poles here for the pole beans to climb. Look at how happy those little pole beans look. So, Billy Bob asked in the comments, how do I know when I have a year's worth of food? That's a really good question. Hold on, we got a chamber around in this 22. There we go. Safety is on. Okay. Yes. Into 22. I told you all we were going to be walking around with a rifle from now on. For population control of certain animals. Much like that rabbit sitting right there. Can y'all see him? Probably not. Stand by. Oh, and he just made a break for a fence line. He probably remembers what it was like with his buddies back in the old days when an evil red-shirted bearded guy came and murdered his entire family. Come here, little bun bun. All I want to do is shoot you in the head. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits. Stand by. Okay. So lessons learned. The next time I'm out talking with y'all and I see a rabbit, I need to quit talking to y'all and just shoot the rabbit. Which is what we'll do next time. Because that sucker's long gone. And he was probably a 2-pound cottontail, which is a big cottontail. At least in these parts. So, we have some germination on some of our pinto beans that were bought out of the bulk storage bin, the grocery store. You'll see that little sucker down there. See him? That's cool. So Billy Bob asked, how do I know when I have a year's worth of food put up? That's kind of the challenge of food storage, is how much food is enough food and how do you quantify the food that you have? Well, as I've said before, one of the ways that I enjoy putting up food is to buy, put together 7 different meals, dinner meals. And the example I always use is spaghetti because it's easy. And so you get, if it takes a pound of spaghetti and a jar of sauce to feed your family, you get 52 jars of sauce and 52 boxes of spaghetti. And that's a year of that one meal, right? And you do that with 7 different meals, you got dinner done. And then you do that with 7 more meals, you got lunch done. And then breakfast is usually leftovers or, if you have chickens, you have some eggs and some bread or whatever, right? So breakfast is kind of one of those fend for yourself times. So quantifying it by meals is a good way to know, do I have enough food? And if not that, then you need to start doing some math. If you figure on a pound of rice per person, now that's a lot of rice. Most people would be hard pressed to eat a pound of rice in a day, just volume wise. But a pound of rice has 1,600 calories in it. The other thing is, if you don't have something to add to that rice, whether it be soy sauce and hot peppers or canned chicken and, cream of mushroom soup or whatever, most people will not eat rice, just plain white rice, for an extended period of time. People get to the point where even though they're hungry, they won't eat it. But if you figured on a half a pound to a pound of rice per person per day, just on rice, if you had 5 people in your family and in a day you needed 5 pounds, well, 150 pounds would be a month's worth. It's actually a lot more than a month's worth. It's easily probably 2 months worth. Because like I said, most people don't eat a pound of rice in a day. But you have to back into it by doing the math. And that's the difficult part, which is why I like quantifying it by meals. So how do you know when you have enough food? Man, brother, I don't know if you ever have enough food. You just have benchmarks. I like putting 1 month supplies in big blue Rubbermaid totes that I get at Walmart for about $10. Hold on. Oh, this is a good shot. We'll do this some more. All right. I like putting a month's worth of food in a blue Rubbermaid tote. And then I know that I have a month's worth of food in that blue Rubbermaid tote. And that'll usually be about 40 pounds of rice and 40 pounds of beans and some canned chicken and some sauces and stuff and some flour and some yeast and some vegetable shortening, and a few other odds and ends in there that makes up a month's worth of calories, basic calories for, a family of 5. So that way I can count the number of blue totes that I have and say, okay, that's, that right there is 6 months worth of food or whatever. So those are my suggestions to Billy Bob on how much food should I have, or how do I know when I have enough food. I wish I could give you a better idea than that, brother, but you really need to do an inventory of what you have already. You got to know what you have. You got to know where you're at to know where you're going. So if I were you, I'd do that first, and then you can, once you quantify what you have, you can figure out what you need to have. So, okay, moving on. Mike Urban asked, what my suggestions would be for bugging out of New Jersey. Man, brother, what's the first thing I'm gonna say? Everybody saying it along with me? Don't be there in the first place. And I know that's not entirely possible. I get it. If you could not be there in the first place, you wouldn't be. I know. But for everybody else that's watching, number one way to avoid the fight is don't be where the fight is. Number one way to avoid a volcanic eruption is don't be where volcanoes are. How do you avoid a FEMA camp? Don't go there, right? So how do you bug out of New Jersey? Don't be in New Jersey would be a great first step. Now, it's been almost a decade since I've been in New Jersey, but for some reason I feel like it probably hasn't gotten any better than the last time I was there, and it's probably gotten worse since the last time I was there. And you know, I've been to Fort Lee right there at the butt end of the George Washington Bridge, and Trenton and Newark and Wallingford, and I've been around Jersey a bit, up and down I-95 and working through the state, and southwestern New Jersey's pretty where it butts up against Pennsylvania. The rest of it, man, no thanks. But the problem with New Jersey is, as most other states in that area, aside from the absolutely insane laws that you're going to have to deal with, is population density. As Pastor Joe calls it, people behaving badly. And that would be my main concern there. Even if you were in the more rural farming communities, assuming they still exist, in western Jersey, over there, you know, western Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, in those areas, New Jersey's not a big state. You know, the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas is approximately the same size as the state of Connecticut. So, there's some scale here to consider, and New Jersey's not very big. So, you can't really get far enough away anywhere in New Jersey, right? So I think you need to be out of New Jersey. If you're gonna bug out, it's best to leave before you have to bug out, right? Whether that's right now or 2 weeks too early, which I would much prefer that you left early rather than, you know, the moment an event happens, just leave before that. Especially once if your spidey senses start tingling and your stomach is just turned in knots and you just feel unequivocally it's time to go. Leave. Don't fight that. Leave. Well, what if I get fired? Well, you got hired, right? And you have skills, right? Somebody wants to pay you money to do something. You can find another job. Or you just tell your boss, hey man, I had something come up. It was really important. Sorry. Whatever, right? Take some vacay time. Do what you got to do. But that would be the first thing. Second thing is you got bridges, tunnels, highways. Whew. Man, less than ideal, brother. Less than ideal. That's no bueno. Because your access and egress points are all controlled. So again, you know, not only are you having to deal with people behaving badly, but you're also likely going to have, like, I don't remember the particular governmental chain of command there, but, you know, you'd have the Port Authority or whoever running the bridges. You know, I-95 is a federal highway, so you might have the feds out on the highway, and then, you know, whoever on the tunnels or whatever, controlling the flow of people or attempting to control the flow of people. And that could be very time consuming, and it may prevent you from getting out in the first place. So, could you leave on a boat? Yeah, if you're in a state of national emergency, if something like that happens, then the Coast Guard's going to either tell you to return to port or turn you into an anchor. So I wouldn't really want to do that either, unless it was a last ditch thing and you left at 3 o'clock in the morning quietly, no running lights, and then you're taking your life into your own hands doing that anyway. So I don't have any real deep, profound insight into how to get out of Jersey when it all hits the fan, other than to say, don't be in Jersey in the first place. And I know it's much easier to say those words than to bring those words into fruition, but you have to. Life is full of choices, brother. That's the thing. Either you're making your own choices or somebody else is making them for you all day, every day. The best way to bug out is to be somewhere that you don't need to bug out. I'm being paged by Mama Bear. Mom! I'm coming. Oh, the baby wants me? Hi, Wheeze. I'll be right there. So that's our morning talk with T. How do I quantify the amount of food that I have put up? And how do I know when I have enough? And how do I bug out of New Jersey? Hi, baby. Those are my thoughts on that. I hope you all found this useful. These are my immediate early morning thoughts. And I need to get off of here, eject this round out of the chamber on this rifle, and stow this rifle, and go hang out with the family. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.